tell you about the good support of the Center for Loss and Bereavement and how it made a very big difference in my life at a difficult time. I lost my partner Lance unexpectedly in the spring of 2019. We had been long ago colleagues who reconnected after a time of loss in both of our lives. It was so sweet at our ages of 69 and 70, I was the older woman, to become, quote, dear companions, as we called ourselves, and partners. As his children wrote, we had a fairy tale romance for several years. It was filled with lots of love, laughter, and joy that we shared with each other, our children, family, and friends. We had this small piece of time in the breadth of our lives and of the universe. We were planning a life together when Lance became ill and died a few weeks later. It was heartbreaking, and the world fell apart. I had never experienced a loss like this before. My grief was raw, physical and emotionally raw. It put me on the floor. I had a sense that the only way forward, really the only way to survive, was to go through the pain. I could not go around it, over it, or under it. I could not pretend it away or cover it up. I literally had to go through it. I came to understand that my grief was part of a love story, that I had loved and been loved deeply, and that making a life for myself meant taking my relationship with Lance along with me in a new way. I am a reader and began to read memoirs and other books about grief. I decided to try journaling, as suggested by many of these books, something that I had never done before. I wrote and I cried and I wailed. I found myself coming back again and again to Lance's actual death and felt that was part of our story that I needed to face and to talk about. It seemed intimate, personal, and private, not for chit-chat. So I contacted the Center for Loss and Bereavement to see if they could support me through such a journey. I knew of the center from a friend who had gone there and through my work. I remember the first time I met my counselor, Kim. She welcomed me into her office. It was a quiet and comfortable place. I told her why I had contacted the center and what I hoped that she could help me with. She said that she thought that she could work with me, and then she said something that I will never forget. She leaned forward and said, "Why don't you tell me about Lance?" My heart sang, and even though I am crying as I write this and tell you this, it was exactly what I wanted to do, to talk about him over and over and over again. I found a caring, compassionate place to talk, cry, and laugh. I needed tending and felt tended to. She listened and offered reflection. I was able to find comfortable ways to, quote, sit with my grief. And as I began to face the upcoming milestones of holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries, she provided guidance and support. I believe that I will always have this grief. I will always miss Lance, and I will always love him. My grief is quieter now, not gone, and not always in the background, but quieter. I continue to go to the center, although less frequently, for support as I move forward in a new life, a life that he is a part of. Our dream of a blended family, a hodgepodge of sorts, is still with me. It is different, but still alive. His 3 children, my 3 children, his grandchildren, 2 of whom were born after he died, my granddaughter, aunts, uncles, friends, neighbors, and an assortment of at least 10 pets, including a horse, are still connected and, quote, muddling along, as he would say. This was not an experience that I had asked for or wanted, but it is the experience that I have, and I am very grateful for my family and friends and colleagues and the support of the Center for Loss and Bereavement through all of this. Thank you for supporting their good work.